Kia ora everyone, today is a pretty big day here for myself because this is the first time I've ever bought a LEGO Minidolls set all for myself. This here is going to be my coverage of the LEGO Wicked Part 1 set. I don't even remember what this one's called. Yeah, it's set 75684, the Welcome to Emerald City set, which only just released this year in October, right before the film came out. I originally wrote off all of these Wicked base sets because I don't collect Minidolls myself. Now, I completely agree it's silly how the change from minifigure to Minidoll is enough to completely turn people away, but it works, honestly. But here I am, I decided on getting it with the Black Friday sales though, netting this down from $180 to around $120. 945 pieces in total with 5 Minidolls, I nearly said minifigures there. They are all exclusive to this set, which is pretty neat. The set here does retail for 100 USD, which translates to 160 NZD, but as I mentioned before, we actually have to pay 180. I believe I paid $120 for this though, which I think is pretty good price given what's included here. The reason I bought this set wasn't because I have suddenly turned Wicked obsessed like the rest of the world, it's because of these guys right here. The set here makes for an amazing home for these prized Wizard of Oz minifigures. Minifigures I love from a movie I love, so it made sense to have this, especially on a sale. And so now here is a video review of me trying to justify that purchase. Opening up our box, you can see inside that the set was still part of the ones that had the original plastic bags and not those nice paper ones, so not every set had this rollout for 2024. We've got some loose bricks there and the bags all together, and the instructions are set aside in this folder, which means that there are definitely going to be multiple instructions. More detail on the box shots closer to the end of the video. The set overview here is Emerald City, I have to assume as seen in the Broadway production and now a major motion picture in cinemas right now. I haven't seen it yet, and I have no idea what's going on here, which is actually refreshing for me, so I'd like to try to keep it that way for this review. There's quite a lot going on here. It looks like this main tower also has 2 little shopping facades and a little trolley cart as well. A little bit of roleplay storytelling here in the set, which makes it a lot more appealing to purchase. The tower can split away from these additional builds, very easy Technip-Peg connections, and it makes reviewing the set easier as well. Looking at the set here in the order in which you build it in then, we start with this little storefront, which also features an interesting design of an apple tree. I have to assume that that's going to be something important for the production because the box does make a big deal of this scene specifically. But first up though is this little cart with a man sitting on it. It looks like it's some sort of a coffee trolley and it appears to have some sort of elixirs or drinks. It's starting to feel very whimsical in a Harry Potter-like sense to me. The cart's pretty cool. I do like that connection made for the bike to the tray, which is held on securely in place. Minidolls are pretty strange to make sit in this thing though. I've never had to experience this before. I really had to force this figure on here because of that body design. It's very stiff compared to a minifigure. The storefront there looks like every LEGO Friends set I've ever seen in stores. A little apple tree there with a spinning wheel, that's pretty fun. The leaves are that newish piece there. The Minidoll sets always seem to be using really cool parts to make their builds appealing. A little apple basket is located down below. Like I said, they make a big deal out of this on the box, so I look forward to seeing how important this is once I inevitably see that film. I'm a big fan of all of these translucent green bricks that are used on this set all throughout its design. There's tons of these to show off for the tower build, so more on that later. Stickers are used here at the front to show us the potion seller's wares, and some apples here in case you didn't know what this was. And I'll spin the set around now to show off the interior design, which is small enough to still have something worthwhile going on in here. It looks like a mirror or something. Behind that wall is a wide range of potions. These were always my favorite types of builds when I was younger for castle and fantasy stuff. They always use some really cool parts for the tops of these bottles, like the diamond piece or some fancy gems. And now I want to take a look at the best part of this build, and that's this Wizomania building, which is the big tower in the center of the build. Split here at the base where one booklet builds the ground floor and another booklet handles all of the rest. They just connect on like so. You might as well look at these together since they do make for one big build. And like I said, this tower here is the best part easily for me for the set build wise. It's very tall and it features a striking design, especially in this top section. There is supposed to be a little wand piece that goes here, but my display area is just too tight for that wand to fit in place. As I was building this thing, I thought Wizomania might be the name of some workforce or a school that they go to or something. It made sense to me in like a Ministry of Magic dealio, but apparently it's an in-universe musical, so the sign here might actually just be advertising a stage show or something, and maybe it's not a Wizomania named building. I don't know, I haven't seen it. We got some really cool flower designs going on here, and they do get better as we go. Really great color choices used, and they all feel very unique. The designs of the walls I like quite a lot too. I think green and gold gold and blue mesh together really well, especially the use of different shades mixed in with one another. Moving upstairs, we have this big window piece here that features a man inside. I don't know if this is like a vision thing or what exactly is going on here. It looks to me like it's this gentleman here that you get in the set. I could easily be wrong though, and frankly, I'm okay with that. The top section here is a pretty solid build as well, and it kind of looks like to me this is supposed to be the defining moment of the production. She's out here defying gravity, and the way she goes about defying gravity is through the use of these pole pieces. I do wish there was a bit more action movement involved here though, because these mini dolls have less movements for rotates than minifigures do. The Wicked Witch here has to kind of stay static, and I would have liked to have seen this pole piece used on some sort of a ball joint movement instead. Now, I was gushing about those minimal greens used before, but look at these ones! Plant pieces are used here for emerald shaping, and then car window pieces to keep that curvature design going. Awesome stuff. They even change things up a little when the design follows upwards to the top of the tower. It's really great to build this, and it is very eye-catching for my display. More greens with altering shades mixed in with blues all down the sides there as well, and the set is deeper than other sets I've built over the years, which felt really surprising to me. I think the set has just enough room on the inside for your figures to feel passable, as opposed to say the recently released Up House from last year. But now it's time to take a look at the inside of the tower, at all of the rooms and the decorations. It's very simple in here, some good looking stuff though really, things that stand out even for someone like me, a person who's only familiar with the Wizard of Oz film and not Wicked. Down below here we have Oz standing in the entranceway, a table that features some cakes, and there'll be more cakes featured later on. We also have a small display which surely must be a model of his hot air balloon. Upstairs is pretty awesome. This is Oz's chambers or something, and here we have a great map of the land and the giant talking head contraption. The map here looks to be a micro model of the city using those Indiana Jones stone pieces for Oz, and you can see the yellow brick road there as well. Really cool stuff. Now nearby I believe is the control panel for Oz to make his head talk and to interact with the people. The head itself is pretty cool to see. It's very different from what I'm used to seeing, because in the original film it looks like this. It's very wacky and pretty dated, I suppose. The production team of Wicked have released this image here, I think, so it should be okay to be sharing. The head here looks bronzed and more of a handmade contraption, and I think it looks pretty cool and different. This here only kind of seems to match that design. I could be wrong there, maybe this is supposed to be the early stages of the contraption being built or something, I'm not sure, but what I'm getting at here is that it's pretty cool to see. We then move upstairs to the last room, which features nothing of note really, but we do have a lot of standing space here. There are some stickers actually on the lower ends of the walls there. They look like suitcases or something. I can't really tell what's going on here. Standing room is there because this is where you can place Elphaba and Glinda to be either chatting or fighting, maybe kissing? I don't know, I keep telling you I haven't seen it yet. What I think happens here is that Elphaba's gonna knock Glinda down the tower, yank that broom, and then defy gravity, all recreated in Lego. The final addition to this build here is a little cake shop. It looks like a nice seating area at a cafe. This part here continues that color scheme I love so much, and the flowers here, these are the ones I was telling you, they're so much better here. I love that newish piece that they've been using recently, very appealing stuff to see. Spinning the section around here, we have an interior, which doesn't offer up too much here honestly, more cakes on display though, and some coffee cups. There is a book stand here which does feature a Scooby-Doo-like interactive book with a tile of Once Upon a Time inside, and now something that I've never seen before in a children's Lego set, a QR code, which was even a sticker that I had to apply. I couldn't even provide a printed tile for this one, Lego. Here is a screen recording of me trying to figure out exactly what this is for the first time ever, and amazingly, it took me to a site that does not exist. Now my question for everyone at home is, does this have anything to do with that toy recall discovered by Just Too Good recently? That's the main coverage here of the builds. Connecting them all is very easy because each building has 4 Technic connectors, so it's a very easy process and it looks great all together. It's a really cool build. It might actually be a favorite of mine for the year. Where I was also interested in the set were in these figures because, again, this is the first time that I'm seeing Minidolls in my own personal collection. I was pretty eager to see how these things operate here because I'm not too familiar with them compared to minifigures. You might as well take a look at Elphaba first here, since she is one of our main leads. It's a really cool figure, I'm not gonna lie. Minidolls here with a change in skin tone feel like a rarity to me. Even this shade of green being used for skin on a minifigure isn't common practice. She has this amazing hat hair combo piece and a wicked cape that looks a lot longer than usual, and removing those iconic pieces here shows some decent back detailing as well. What makes Elphaba intriguing to me here is the fact that she's the only Minidoll in this set who actually has appeared in minifig form before. This here is the Wicked Witch from the LEGO Batman movie sets, and even then, that's not her only appearance made in LEGO. For some reason, LEGO never released a direct Wizard of Oz set, but they did make almost all of the key characters as LEGO minifigures, and they released them all under other Warner Brother banners. The Wicked Witch here was included in LEGO Dimensions, a huge deal at the time because I think it was around the same time that LEGO Ideas continuously had these submissions for the Wizard of Oz, but the sets just kept being rejected. The Wicked Witch here features some key differences compared to Elphaba, like the flesh tone here being one of those main differences. The hat too looks a lot worse on the minifigure without that hairpiece like I mentioned, and the cape is a lot longer here as well. You can see just how much longer it is and styled differently as well. So then I started wondering about how different these two would look if you swap some of those parts over. And so now we get to take a look at an improved Wicked Witch figure and a downgraded Wicked Elphaba figure. The Wicked Witch here with the addition of that cape and hat with hairpiece I think looks incredible. I've loved this upgrade so much that I've been considering now buying another version of this figure just so I can use those parts there and have this be a permanent look for my Witch minifig. Now the Minidoll variant of Elphaba on the other hand is a very bad looking choice here, and thank God LEGO didn't go with something like this for the set. It was actually a surprise for me as well because I didn't know up until I opened the set and built the figure that she would look like how she officially looks. I assumed she was going to be released with something like this. I'm so glad that she does have unique parts made just for her. I think it really helps bring that figure to life. Even still, Glinda might be the absolute MVP of the set. What a figure. For one thing, I hate the Minidolls bend in the legs because I feel like they just collapse all the time when you're trying to display them on something. Glinda here doesn't have that issue because she's wearing this big dress piece, which is just one solid part like the original dress piece for LEGO minifigures. I also acknowledge that while the Minidolls don't look identical to the actors, similar to minifigs, I can tell that this is supposed to be Ariana Grande, more than I can tell that Elphaba is meant to be Cynthia Erivo. She has this stick and a tiara piece which is supposed to represent her wand, and another great thing with the Minidolls are those hair pieces because as you saw with the Witch, Minidoll and minifigure hats and hairpieces are compatible with one another, so this is a solid plastic, amazing looking blonde hairpiece that is absolutely going to be appearing in custom figures in the future. I added that flower as an extra piece there though, because I thought that an exposed hole in her hair looked really ugly, which now I'm starting to understand how the LEGO Clone Trooper fans feel. This here is Fiyero or Fiyero or something different maybe, I'm not sure. Is a generic male Minidoll figure. Nothing too exciting for me with this one as someone who is unfamiliar with the story now as of November, but maybe I'll change my mind about him once I see that film. For me though, yeah, he just kind of looks like the average LEGO Friends and Disney Prince Minidoll figures. It's hard to compete against the two women figures we just looked at because those are just perfect Minidolls for me, and this one here is just kind of meh. Up next here is the Wizard in the movie played by Jeff Goldblum, and I feel like a rare statistic would be actors who appear both as Minidolls and minifigures in LEGO sets. The Wizard there feels less generic than the last guy we looked at, standing out here with his green outfit and Mad Hatter-like hat piece, but he is still a simple figure nonetheless. I've got a hat sitting on some spare pieces there because as LEGO has gone on, I've started to really dislike that look of hat pieces without hair pieces attached to it. It's one of those modern design things I think LEGO really needs across the board from here on, but this is what he looks like with his hat on there. I think looks very goofy and very outdated. You might think differently, and that's pretty cool. I won't be displaying him like this though, but I am thankful at the end of the day for the option. And this is Madame Morrible, which sounds like Madame Horrible, so she must be the antagonist of our story. Again, the dolls do not look identical to the actors, but I think that's a pretty decent Michelle Yeoh Minidoll translation I see there. The hairpiece is pretty unique. I'm not sure if it's new or if I can use it for anything else outside of this line, but it does feel new to me, so it's something that I thought was worth noting. Another very simple figure, but again, I like that likeness and I think that the hairpiece is pretty cool too. Now the box art for the set here shows the castle clear as day, really cool looking action shot of everything going on here, and our main characters are located up at the top of the box. The other side goes into all of those key features that we just looked at. There's a lot of display options here, but there's not really anything in the play feature department, and also be sure not to trust the box when it says that you can scan inside, because it doesn't work. The instructions here come as 4 different manuals to build your 4 different models. Our first booklet here covers the first store, and I might be crazy, but there's definitely some green theming going going on inside, which I thought was really cool. Like, it's not really common practice for LEGO to be doing theming these days in their instruction manuals. There are no advertisements or anything special on the inside of this one. The next booklet features the exact same kind of designs really, except for the end, which shows us how to connect that build onto the store that we just looked at in booklet number 1. Booklet 3 is a bigger booklet in comparison to 1 and 2, which messes with the established conventions and it messes with my head. The exact same design as the other manuals, there are no additional details located in this one. Our final booklet is the exact same as you could have imagined, but the back here does advertise the other sets in the wave. After I finished building this, I'm a lot more interested now in sets based on Wicked, or ideally Oz in general, but these just don't really scratch that same itch for me like this one did. Interesting, but not really for me. And then there's something that you really do not see in LEGO sets these days, or period ever. At the back of this teeny tiny manual here is an image of the movie, something that's usually been reserved for the adult collector based sets. Inventory list, a winning mini doll girl, and then we're done. I'm really impressed. I'm really satisfied here, which is what you want to hear from someone who has never bought a Minidoll set before and decided to go all in on a bigger scaled one right out the gate. Even if you remove my love of the original film and my possession of minifigures from that same movie, I think it's a really solid set on its own and one to consider buying if you have any interest in this property whatsoever. Now, having said that, I did buy this set for one thing and one thing only, a display for my minifigures. Now this looks amazing to me, and it definitely brings a lot more towards this display in my eyes. I love those Wizard of Oz figures released throughout the LEGO Batman movie and LEGO Movie 2 sets, and hopefully with the success of this new movie and ideally these toys, maybe we'll be lucky and we'll see some official Wizard of Oz sets released later down the line. Now that's it from me on this one. If you enjoyed this look at a LEGO Wicked Part 1 set, liking this video here and subscribing to the channel does help to support more videos like this one in the future. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Ka kite anō. I hope to see you all next time.